hip-hop crooner Snoop Doggy Puff has a new piece out on our fearless leader. It's called Make America Crip Again. Now, I wanted to play this clip of the random noises and cacophony that he calls a musical piece, but unfortunately there's so much expletive in it that we can't do it on the show.
Yeah, no time to edit.
Yeah, it'd just be a bleep. It'd just be a long bleep. So I can quote the lyrics. Snoopy says, "The president wants to make America great again. F that, we gonna make America Crip again." Crip, referring to the gang that I guess he was associated with. Now, this is a marked change in hip-hop. Hip-hop is turning on President Trump now, but hip-hop used to love Trump because he was a symbol of conspicuous wealth and success and something to aspire to. So a young musician named Young Jeezy once warbled, quote, and I'm going to change a couple words because I don't want to get yelled at, quote, "Richest ninja in my hood, call me Donald Trump." There were 318 mentions, according to Nate Silver at 538, of Donald Trump between 1989 and 2016. Amber, why does hip-hop not like Donald Trump anymore?
Well, because he's a Republican. I mean, it's fairly obvious. Most of these rappers are good buddies with Barack Obama and I guess to some extent Hillary Clinton, although I don't think she's quite hip enough for most of them. But the part that really got me about Snoop Dogg's rap is mentioning he wants to make America Crip again. He explained that the Crips were originally founded to be sort of the new Black Panther Party. Obviously, what they ended up being was a very violent gang in California. So for him to lecture about Donald Trump being a terrible person, and with Eminem too, but then to promote gang culture is a bit absurd, I would think.
Snoop's also a drive-by shooting criminal. So, I mean, it's at least it's of a piece when he says we want to make, pun intended, that he wants to make America Crip again. Paul Bois, is there anything redeeming about this terrible music? Because I try, people say I'm like an old curmudgeon. I sound like a caricature of just an old Republican who's like, you kids with your hip-hop. But it's horrible. It's just not good. I have so frequently tried to convince myself that hip-hop songs are good or in any way, but I can't. They're just terrible. Is there anything redeeming about it?
Well, as Aristotle said, Michael, music...
Good, I'm glad you don't sound like an old curmudgeon. Tell me what Aristotle said.
Yeah. As Aristotle said, Michael, music gives soul to the universe. And to be quite honest, I've always found hip-hop to be a very miserable genre of music. It's way too carnal of a genre. It's all about just the beat itself, and that's why if you listen to even like a quote-unquote good hip-hop song, you're pretty much bored with it within like two or 3 days, and you never really want to return to listen to it ever again. So that's one thing. But in terms of the culture that it's bred, especially when you look at previous black musicians of previous generation, you had soul music, you had gentlemen like Nat King Cole, such beautiful music that contributed so wonderfully to the American songbook, and there's nothing that's going to be remembered in hip hop 50 years from now. It's just going to be considered just like, oh yeah, a music genre that came in, but nobody's going to be returning to the classics of Snoop Dogg, singing about money on his mind 50 years from now, and the horrible culture of misogyny that it bred. So I look forward to its death completely.
You're a hopeless, or optimist rather. I think they probably will be looking back on these guys. And you mentioned how carnal the music is. It's all about sex and treating women terribly. But you bring up soul music too. Soul music is extremely sensual, in some ways carnal, but soul music is great. There are a lot of excellent songs in soul and Motown that kind of take you on a journey, and they're musically somewhat sophisticated and lyrically compelling, and this stuff is just garbage. So I even tried to listen to Kanye one time because everyone told me, well, mostly Kanye just told me he's the greatest musical genius ever. So I decided to see if he was right. And the thing is, he is sort of good in that he has good taste in music, so he samples good songs and then he makes them worse by singing on them. So like he even wrote a song with Paul McCartney. He wrote a couple songs. One is called Only One, which is really good. Kim Kardashian said it was her favorite Kanye song. It's her favorite Kanye song because Paul McCartney wrote it, and it sounds really good except for Kanye's awful voice. But I think that's the trouble. Maybe they have a good sense of music, but just they don't have any talent, so it produces this garbage. Yeah. And but we'll have to tie that into maybe one of Andrew Klavan's segments, Our Crappy Culture. Sure.